Hey everyone, hopefully you guys are enjoying Monster Hunter in whichever fashion you're choosing to play it as. And today I wanted to go over the latest news that we have for Monster Hunter now, as both Capcom and Niantic decided to finally reveal that on December 7th, aka the same day that the Game Awards are taking place, so expect a brand new trailer at the very least to fully be revealed heading into the Game Awards presentation, that the Monster Hunter massive update will be happening on that very day. Essentially, brand new content will become available for everyone worldwide around the same time. They officially confirmed through both their social media pages, but also a brand new blog update that is currently out just in their Japanese page. For whatever reason, there's no English version of the update. But they also shared with us a brand new image, essentially showcasing what it is that you can expect to be part of this update. And first and foremost, you should be able to see that, of course, Sunbreak is standing strong. Presumably that is New York City. I'm gonna wager a guess based on the way it looks, but I don't know, it could be pretty much anywhere else around the world. A Sunbreak standing in the middle of the street, kind of doing this big thunderclap type of attack as hunters from all over the world are surrounding it. And if you decide to take a closer look at each one of those hunters, you should be able to see that each one of them is revealing something interesting, essentially new content that will be part of this game. But I want to make a couple of clarifications. First and foremost, usually when they've used these type of key assets, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's everything that is going to be part of the content drop that we should be expecting, because more importantly, we know there's 16 new monsters that are going to be added into the game. Whether they are all going to be part of this update or they're going to be eventually dropped gradually, we don't necessarily know. But we also know that there's 4 new weapons making their way into the game as part of the data mines. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for a couple of the videos that I put out about a month ago or so ago, when basically all of this information was originally leaked, sources pretty much all named. So we know that a lot more content is going to be making its way to the game. We just don't necessarily know if it's just going to be all part of this December 7th update. But first and foremost, what we can of course confirm here is that Sunbreak is going to be part of the game. Of course, alongside of his brand new armor is going to be making its way into the game as well. Now, if you take a closer look at the forefront hunter, you get to see that he's wearing a really interesting looking armor, which we're going to circle back to in a second. But you're also going to be able to notice that yes indeed, he is holding a lance, because lances are one of the weapons that we knew from the data mines that are going to be making their way into the game. So therefore now they are going to be introducing lances into this game. And that is not the only weapon you're going to be able to see added into the game. If you take a closer look on the, I believe, upper slightly left side of the image, you should be able to see a hunter flying in the air with dual blades. And that is another weapon that was found through the data mines that it was going to be added into the game. Not only that, Niantic sent out some like emails, I believe, a couple of weeks back. I covered that in a separate video where they were basically showcasing like all the weapons in the game, and there were icons for dual blades in that email. They resent another email afterwards, kind of like covering their tracks a little bit, saying that, oh, we sent out some wrong information, we apologize for that. But then of course the logo was removed from the dual blades in that email. But of course we now know fully, both from the data mines and now their direct confirmation, that dual blades and lances will be added into the game. But the surprises do not necessarily end there. If you take a closer look on the right side of the image, you see a clearly escaping out of the way of Sunbreak hunter with a big hammer and Barriath armor. Of course, Barriath is another one of those monsters that we knew based off of the data mines that they were going to be able to go ahead and add, and we now have direct confirmation that yes indeed, Barriath and his armor alongside that will be making their way into the game. And then of course lastly, if you take a closer look to the back end left side of the image, you'll be able to see a bowman, a bow user with Bambaro armor. That is Bambaro armor basically being showcased there, which is another monster that we knew was going to be part of the 16 ones that are going to be part that have been part of the data mines so far. So it basically confirms that Bambaro, Barriath, of course Sunbreak are the 3 monsters that at the very least they're confirming as of right now, but we know, like I said already multiple times, there's 16 of them potentially could be added, although we don't necessarily know if all of them are going to be added all at once. And of course, dual blades and lances, 2 new weapons making their way into the game. So that's pretty exciting stuff that at the very least in just one image they were able to tease a lot of that information. And for me personally, I'm pretty happy to be able to see just what they are trying to do at the very least on the early onset of this update. Remember that with the original launch of the game and the monsters that were 15 or so monsters that were originally there, we ended up seeing both Black Diablos and Pink Rathian being kind of like pseudo added into the game with their own kind of like limited events. At this point in time, I believe they just recently ran another Black Diablos event, but we have not seen a Pink Rathian event since then. So hopefully they just add them permanently going forward, and these monsters presumably are going to take that same path, or maybe they're just going to make them readily available right at the gate, and a couple of other maybe such species or variants will be added in on forth, because we know at the very least Azure Rathalos, Silver Rathalos, Radoban, Lavai Soft, Koro Puke Puke, Wogs, Kortos, Tsutsuyakus, Sagi, Sinojiva, and I believe the last one was the flagship for World, Nergigante, being pretty much all of the monsters that we know that are part of the data mines that we are fully expecting there to be added, with the, of course, addition of, I believe it was both Charged Blade and Gun Lance as the 2 other weapons that are not being showcased as of right now, that will be the weapons that end up getting added into the near future. So ultimately what we are seeing here is just a small taste, presumably, of what this December patch, major patch, is going to be making its way into the game. But as of right now, we don't necessarily have a clear picture if all of the 16 monsters that we know from the data mines and the 4 weapons are going to be part of it, or at the very least just more things will eventually trickle out. We do expect them to, at the very least, making their way into 2024, they start doing a little bit of a better job regarding the weekly and monthly roadmaps, because they have been very spotty as of recently. I've seen a lot of criticisms, not just being levied by me. I've seen other Monster Hunter Now, a little bit more focused channels as well, make very similar criticisms to the ones that I've been making now for almost a month and a half since the game basically launched. So I'm not trying to pick on the game by any means. I do play it occasionally. I just don't necessarily spend a lot of too much time with it, and certainly I'm not going to be spending any money on it because I just don't have that kind of level of dedication for this specific game because of just the way that it kind of has been developed as of right now. And with the most recent rumors that we have been seeing regarding the potential launch of the next mainline Monster Hunter game on Apple phone devices, which has been a rumor that has kind of been gaining a little bit of ground within the past few weeks, rather, and something that I want to talk about in a separate video as we make our way into the Game Awards presentation, where we're still expecting something to be showcased for Monster Hunter 6. It just basically showcases that this game might be just a little bit of a stepping stone for the franchise, and not necessarily something Capcom is expecting too much reverence, much less too much dedication from the player base, since they're pretty much trickling out some of the content sporadically and slowly at that. So I don't want to seem too critical, but hopefully they can speed it up going forward. I did also want to very quickly mention that they say the Fulmination and the Frost in their original post and their social media page. They also say something very similar in their Japanese post. I don't necessarily know if that involves with the 2 brand new biomes that we also know based off the data mines, that they're going to have a brand new frost biome and a new lava volcano type biome as well being added in. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to go to an icy area in the world to be able to experience those, but presumably based on the time or the weather, based on the temperature, those like effects might actually take place. Like if you're in a desert area and it gets really hot, it'll like basically seem like it's in a volcano in the game, so you have access to some of those more fire themed monsters, not necessarily desert themed monsters. Same thing in the city, but it's actually now a frosty area, so you have more ice or cold water temperature type monsters to kind of be more available or more common in that specific biome. That is some of the suggestions I've seen so far tossed around. I don't have any confirmation of any of that, but that seems to be the way they're going to be implementing that. And I just kind of found it interesting that they mentioned the Fulmination of Frost, suggesting that maybe they do end up adding that brand new frozen biome that we know has been showcased in the data mines so far. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. Link in the description below for my previous leaks videos. I've kind of covered pretty much everything that we know based on the data mines for Monster Hunter Now. Of course, this brand new patch is going to bring forth more data mines, so we should be able to get more information there in the near future, at the very least after the Game Awards trailer when this goes live on December 7th. If you're brand new to my channel though, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.